Oh my God, it's right here. It's right on top of us. Get down, get down. That sound, it's something survivors say you don't just hear, you feel it in your bones. People often compare it to a freight train, but the reality is far more terrifying. It's the sound of nature completely ripping the world apart. We've all seen the videos, the wild satellite loops, the distant shots of a funnel cloud tearing across an open field. But what's really going on when that spinning column of air, with winds that can top 250 miles per hour, actually hits a town, a neighborhood, your home? This isn't just about wind speeds and pressure drops, it's about your entire world being turned upside down in an instant, and the incredible journey that starts in the seconds after the roaring finally stops. Before the chaos, there's the science. Most of the truly destructive tornadoes are born from a specific kind of storm, the supercell. Think of it as a giant thunderstorm that starts to rotate, becoming a massive, violent engine in the sky that can be miles wide. When the conditions are just right, that rotation tightens up, gets more intense, and stretches down toward the ground. The second it makes contact, it's officially a tornado. The destruction that follows comes from a brutal 1-2 punch. First, there's the raw power of the wind. Winds gusting over 200 miles per hour don't just knock things over, they peel them apart. Because of the huge pressure difference between the inside of your house and the low-pressure vortex of the tornado, roofs can be lifted and torn away. And once the roof is gone, the home's structure is toast. Walls that are no longer supported from above just get pushed over by the wind. But it's the second part of the attack that makes tornadoes uniquely devastating: the debris. A tornado doesn't just destroy a house, it turns it into ammunition. Splintered wood, broken glass, and metal siding become deadly missiles flying at incredible speeds, able to tear through almost anything. That's how a tornado creates total devastation, turning homes into piles of rubble you can't even recognize, and scouring the landscape clean. For anyone on the ground, the science doesn't matter. All that matters is the experience, a few minutes that will change their life forever. It usually starts with a warning, a piercing siren that cuts through the air, a frantic buzz on your phone. You might notice the sky has turned a weird greenish color. In those few moments, you have only one goal: find shelter. People scramble to the safest place they can find: a storm cellar, a basement, or for many, the most interior windowless room in the house, like a bathroom or a closet. You huddle together, maybe pulling a mattress over yourselves, a flimsy last line of defense. Then, the impact. The rumble explodes into that deafening roar. Survivors talk about a bizarre and terrifying feeling as the air pressure drops so suddenly that their ears pop. The house starts to groan, then shake, then shudder violently like it's being held by a giant. The sound is a nightmare. Not just wind, but the noise of your own home being dismembered. Windows shattering, metal twisting and shrieking, and the deep cracking sound of wood beams snapping like twigs. For the people inside, it's a moment of pure primal fear. Many say they were sure they were about to die, a feeling of total powerlessness as their world literally falls apart around them. They hold on to their kids, they pray, they listen as their home, the one place they're supposed to be safe, is ripped to pieces, and then silence. It's so sudden and so absolute that it's just as disorienting as the noise. This is the moment people emerge. Pushing away whatever has fallen on them, survivors crawl out from the rubble, but they don't step out into their neighborhood. They step into what looks like a war zone. The familiar landscape is just gone. You can see the sky where your ceiling used to be. Landmarks have vanished. Homes are just foundations. Cars are flipped over and crumpled. The ground is a minefield of wood with nails sticking out, broken glass, and twisted metal. In those first few moments, shock is a kind of shield, keeping the full reality at bay. But that numbness quickly fades, replaced by a desperate urgency. Is everyone okay? Are the neighbors safe? The immediate aftermath of a tornado isn't about official first responders. It's about survivors, helping survivors. People, often hurt themselves, start digging through what's left of their neighbors' homes, screaming names, listening for cries for help, and performing rescues long before ambulances can even get through the blocked streets. A tornado might only last for a few minutes, but its effects can stretch on for months, years, or even a lifetime. The scene right after is full of hidden dangers. Downed power lines can be hidden in puddles, and leaking gas lines create a risk of explosion. Then, the massive job of recovery begins. It's a process that happens on two tracks at once, the physical and the emotional. The physical part is what you see. Volunteers show up with chainsaws, and groups like the Red Cross and the Salvation Army set up shelters with food and water. Meanwhile, homeowners face the heartbreaking task of digging through what's left of their lives, just hoping to find a few photos or keepsakes. Dealing with insurance claims is a soul-crushing but necessary chore. Rebuilding is a slow, difficult process that shows the resilience of a broken community, but it's the invisible damage, the emotional recovery, that's often the longer and harder journey. Surviving such a violent event leaves deep psychological scars. PTSD is common, bringing with it flashbacks, nightmares, and intense anxiety. The sound of a simple thunderstorm can trigger sheer panic. Many also struggle with survivor's guilt, asking themselves, why did I make it when others didn't? Children are especially vulnerable, and may deal with fear and anxiety long after the storm is over. The sense of safety that a home is supposed to provide is just gone, and rebuilding that feeling is a huge challenge. Mental health support, whether from counselors or community groups, becomes just as critical as rebuilding a house. In sharing their stories and supporting each other, the slow process of healing can finally start. It's a powerful reminder that even after the world is turned upside down, people find the strength to rebuild not just their homes, but their entire lives. The path from a rotating storm in the sky to a community rebuilding is a story of both terrifying destruction and incredible strength. A tornado shows us just how vulnerable we are to nature's power, but what happens next reveals something even stronger: the human spirit's ability to endure, help, and rebuild. From the first roar of the wind to the last volunteer leaving town, the reality of a tornado is a stark lesson in what we can lose in a moment and what we can overcome together. If this story meant something to you, please consider sharing it. It helps raise awareness about the real impact of these storms. And in the comments, we'd love to hear your thoughts, or if you feel comfortable sharing any of your own experiences with severe weather. Thanks for watching.